Yay! Hey, Rochelle, how are you? Um, Nice to see you, or not see you, but nice to feel your presence on today's share. Rightness. Why rightness is a curse. It's the curse of life. Um, okay, so this is just working around a situation where there's very little clarity for me personally, but i.e., like actual communication between humans. So, like, for me, it's like working with the intuition and like fine tuning, like how the intuition picks up on stuff, which offers personal clarity, but it doesn't ultimately matter whether it's right or wrong. It's intuitive, and so it's about energy resonance. So that's part of why I talk about in the Fearless Life Guide Beyond Words, because people lie and they don't do it because they're trying to be mean necessarily. People lie. I've done it. We lie to protect our heart. We lie to protect other people. We lie to protect our ego ultimately, right? We lie to protect the identity or the image that we're trying to portray in the world, right? And we're taught to portray an image. We're taught to try to strive and achieve and be right. And here's why rightness can be such a curse, because in a sense, when we're defending or justifying something, there's usually a deeper understanding. There's usually a deeper purpose for why things are happening. And because we've been veiled, right? Humanity's been, you could say, just in the darkness, in the dark ages, veiled, thinking everything's separate, and we're coming to this expanded perception, which now sees us as one and realizes that we're the creators of our reality. When we try to be right to the detriment of our well-being, so we start to get stressed, we start to get tense, we feel burden in our heart, we feel twisted, we feel restricted, but we're right. I'm right. My perspective's the right perspective. That energy basically just cuts off our joy. And ultimately, it can cut off expansion. Like if one person has to be right, it means everyone else has to be wrong. So you can see how this idea of rightness and wrongness is divisive, rather than a perspective of we all got stuff. We're all in this together. And it's one or the other. Just like I did a share about, like, there's only two perspectives, really. It's one or the other. You either want to try to find resolution or be right. You either want to find compassion, love, forgiveness, and harmony for a being, or be right. And the rightness, I can often feel the edge of rightness. It's so hard because on the energetic level, when someone like has to be right, it's usually because there's a lot of unworthiness. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of so I need to slam my control rightness all over the world around me to validate myself, to make myself feel powerful. Can you see that? How that is a distorted and false promise of power? Whereas for me, just the only reason I have these insights is because I was that person, just having to slam my ideas over everyone and really kind of feeling like I'm right. Now, through just total breakdown, I realize there's no such thing. I'm just like a human who has a perspective that I find it's kind of juicy. It's kind of like cool. And I'm realizing that not everyone has that perspective, and that it might be useful to some people to be able to look at things from a different point of view. Like, who cares? You can either be right or you can love your life. You can either be right or you can be an example of joy. You can either be right or you can play. When you think back to being a little kid, did we ever stress out about being right? No, we were told what to do. Then at some point along the way, in all of our shame and unworthiness and distortion, we were like, right, oh fuck, I have to know about this shit, so I better like memorize it and be right so I know the truth so I can be better than everybody else, or so that I don't end up like a homeless junkie. So like you can see that kind of disparity between this stress culture, this fear culture, and then rightness. So in truth, rightness is a curse because even the idea of rightness is an illusion based on a system of fear, based on the underlying fundamental belief that we're not enough, that we're all unworthy, we don't really belong here, and unless we can get a good job and buy lots of shit, then we're no good. So that whole story, that's being like brushed to the side. Now we're in this world of like compassionate understanding. Like, interesting, that bumped up against my edge, and or that really hurt my heart, and I'm having all this pain, and maybe because of this pain cycle, there's resolution to find. You know, it's not about getting stuff from each other. It's not about controlling one another. And that's unfortunately what happens in our kind of little, sometimes in our little tribes and communities. Not tribes, because I say like tribes new paradigm, but like maybe in our family situations or in our friendship circles, like people start gossiping, and then you, before you know it, like you've laced your mind projection with like judgments and rightness and wrongness, and then that's how the heart gets twisted. You know that feeling when you're like, and like trying to work something out, but it's just all like fucked and twisted? That to me is a real sign of like gossip and foul play and lies and secrets and stuff like that, because it's just like, and from childhood trauma, again, you can create that, but then a lot of us will have those traumas because we would have grown up in a world where people gossiped and we thought it was normal. You know, when we watch mainstream agenda, when we watch mainstream TV and stuff like that, we do act out the drama that we get programmed by. So, you know, we do tend to shop on a conveyor belt, because like adverts, programs are showing us every 2 minutes or whatever, I don't know what it is, but like you get bombarded. So like most of us want to shop on impulse because we're being bombarded by that impulse. Similarly, when we watch violent movies, we have a tendency to probably focus on violence. When we watch drama, like straight up, a lot of the drama on TV to me perpetuates drama in our relationships. All of us have these underlying fears, like he's gonna leave me, he doesn't care, he da 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 da, and a lot of it will either come from our familial patterns or even stuff in the mainstream. You know, like if like an ex-girlfriend left us for some guy, like we have that, there's like this fear of not being good enough, and but unconsciously, because we still fear we're not good enough, we will recreate that situation over and over again until we deal with the pain. And for me, the heart that I'm feeling and the pain that I'm feeling, like, fuck, I don't know how old that shit is. I don't know how long I've been carrying that, but it's deep. And I'm super thankful for my ability to feel it, because I know that in feeling the heartbreak, I'm realizing how much I can love. And because for a while I didn't really believe in true love. I didn't believe like there'd be like that person. Now the way that I feel in my heart, I'm like, oh my God, that kind of love where you just fucking know, like that's the man, that's him, that's the love. And to be able to feel that way regardless of what the other person desires, knowing the truth of that kind of love, knowing the truth of that kind of love to create something really beautiful as well, like to create new paradigm, like loving, harmonious, sacred relationship and sacred community from within that marriage of love, like that's fucking beautiful. And literally, this is like a total flip, because I'm pretty sure a year ago I was doing a share about how I'm like, independent woman, don't believe in marriage, don't want to have children, da 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 da. And now I'm like, now I've had all these intense vibrational shifts and transformations, and I'm like looking back and being like, I totally want that. Fuck. Why was I running? I was running away from my own ability to be happy. You know, I was running away from the person I actually loved because I was too afraid it would never work out. So then you create what you're afraid of, right? It's so fucked up. It's totally fucked up. It's fascinating to me, obviously, because I can show up here. But then you're also just like, damn, you know, like, and then when there's no communication, it's over, right? You know, like people make their choices, and once you stop communicating the separations, the cords are being cut basically, because the vibrational disparity. That's all I can think of. Like, vibrational disparity is just too much. And there again, where it's just, we don't have to overanalyze people. Like, people make their choices. They do what they need to do. They're on their divine path. Like, wish people well. That's all we can really do, right? Like, wish people well. And if people aren't meant to be in our life, they just won't. But I'm over being right. I don't even know what that fucking means. Because here's the thing, right? All I really know how to be is me. But I know that I'm not right or wrong. That's the beauty. Me not having to be right means I don't have to be fucking wrong either. I can just be me. And then I can let people be themselves. And if their rightness is starting to like hurt my heart, I can just walk away from it and send them lots of love. Michelle, thanks for listening, chica. Anyone else who's listening on the other side there, thanks a lot, you guys. Have an awesome, awesome day. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for all of your like subscribes and shares and all that. I'm really focusing on this path now. So just always sharing. There's online, I do offer online sessions. You can check that out on altolove.com. And sessions are just intuitive, guys. They do require financial investment, but it's literally just being present with you and listening, and then offering insights, offering perspectives, which can be useful. Love you guys. Have a great day. Peace out.